Trying to figure out which Recon legend is that top tier must-use legend to excel your game to the higher ranks? Well, the answer might not be what you might think it is. Each Recon legend does have some very specific use cases, and if you're not using that legend in the right environment, you actually might be hurting yourself more than helping. For instance, Bloodhound is incredible in pubs, but maybe not the greatest ranked warrior when you are looking at the entire picture. But that doesn't mean that they are not still decent for ranked. Bloodhound's passive tracking lets you find more fights, which is going to be a huge playmaker in pubs when you are going for higher kill games. Also, just understanding your surroundings is a lot better, which of course also is good for ranked, so you do know who is around and who might be lurking in the shadows. Bloodhound's tactical scan is still definitely OP when you are entering a fight, and this is the bread and butter to get that real-time intel to your teammates with no real communication needed. And if you are in the lower ranks when your teammates do not have a microphone, this could be definitely needed. Bloodhound's ultimate is still going to be good as the speed boost is crazy, and that White Raven and Scan Replenish can be pretty niche, but it is useful, and I think the ultimate was better in the previous form of more scans, but that doesn't mean getting more ultimates more frequently isn't a bad thing, and this definitely makes Bloodhound a little bit more free when it does come to combat utility, since they do have more ultimates and they can have more speed boosts more frequently. So when it does come to Bloodhound, the biggest mistake I do see people is just not utilizing the scan at the proper time. Since the scan doesn't come back in the ultimate faster anymore, this is even more important, and you do need to really wait to use that scan when you're actually ready to walk around that corner and take a fight when the enemy is actually on the scan. Bloodhound is kind of the legend you want to use if you are looking for a mix of casual combat capabilities and recon gathering to perform some smart and more informed playmaking, which is really what any recon using legend or player should be looking out for, making more informed plays. While Bloodhound is a pretty great pub legend and a fine ranked option, they do not necessarily excel at either mode, since pub games are all about fast-paced action, having some movement in there, and outplaying your enemies, and then ranked of course is all about team synergy and really just overall making the most of your squad composition. And some of the other recon legends can provide just a little bit more team utility and usefulness. If you want an easy legend, if you are struggling with Apex and you're looking for that first legend to play, Bloodhound is definitely the one that I think you should be using. The most unique Recon legend, and honestly one of the most unique legends in the entire game, is going to be Vantage. She is solid all around, but I wouldn't say that she is specifically a really great pub or really great ranked legend. She kind of just has a little bit of everything in her kit. The passive of telling what armors people have and their squad status, whether they are full or down members, is so massive for playmaking. This definitely is welcomed when you are playing ranked, but it isn't specific to the mode you are playing. Knowing if that squad is 100% missing a member means you can push the pedal down and identify if you need to take the squad out sooner than later, and if you do have a leg up right off the bat. There's very few legends in the game, if any legends other than Vantage, that do have recon properties, movement properties, and assault properties with that ultimate sniper. All of this does make her really great for ranked to open and make plays. Not to mention, having a regenerative sniper ammo is very nice to continually apply pressure, and you don't need to worry about having as much ammo, which means you can have more healing items or more grenades, which can be critical if you are in a slower paced ranked match when maybe you aren't able to loot up quite as much. Her movement could also greatly help with pinching players and creating space, but it isn't as fast or direct as some of the other legends like Horizon. You pretty much go up that lift right away and you're right there, or you got Pathfinder's grapple to quickly get up. Vantage's bat isn't quite as fast, but this ability does come back very quickly, which is definitely nice. The biggest drawback I will say is that she doesn't have any direct team support or useful properties outside of manually relaying that information to the status of those enemies to her teammates, which does mean that her kit is really not as flexible as a lot of the other legends. The previously mentioned Bloodhound, you just hit that scan and the teammates get that intel, and this isn't really the case with Vantage. If you do want a recon legend and you want a little information gathering, but you want the most versatile in terms of the overall playstyle, Vantage is definitely going to be good for you. If you're looking for what arguably is the best combat and team fighting legend, Seer is going to be the pick, but there are still some big things to be worried about with the Wizard. For starters, the main reason as to why you will want to use Seer is that your squad should never have to worry about someone walking up on you, and you can more readily and really at any time tell who is around you, which means you're just better off than more times when it comes to intel. This is all, of course, in reference to his passive Heartseeker. There are two reasons why Seer is such a good team fighting legend though, and it really comes down to his ultimate, as dropping an ultimate and being able to completely tell where everyone is means you can play passively and smartly to your advantage, but at the same time, if you know it's go time and you have to push someone, you can drop that ult down and really get someone out of that area pretty much in an instant. The second way way to extend your combat capabilities even further is going to be using Seer's Tactical. The biggest mistake I do see with this is opening with a tactical scan or just using it right after you do get a knock. You really want to sit on this ability as long as you can and use it when you know an enemy is popping a healing item or they are getting revived. These two abilities make Seer a real powerhouse in ranked, and I wouldn't say that his abilities are as needed in pubs. They're still good, of course, but if you are playing Seer, I would definitely focus on playing ranked Apex. Also say that if you are not playing or communicating with your squad, as you really should be, but maybe they aren't communicating as well, then Seer's going to struggle a little bit, and a legend like Bloodhound is just going to be a little bit better. But if you do want the best team fighter out there and a Recon legend for farming that KP and taking a lot of fights, I definitely give Seer a strong look at. The most misunderstood, slept on, underrated, and forgotten legend for the Recon class is going to be Crypto. Crypto, in my opinion, has the most flexibility for ranked that everyone really needs to take a serious look at. If you're just pubbing, I don't think Crypto is a great pick at all. You can, of course, make him work, but I would definitely look at a lot of the other legends. Crypto excels from a well-coordinated team, as the drone isn't necessarily the fastest thing out there when you are using it, but if you can set up a well-executed, aggressive EMP, you can really easily take out enemies, as doing 150 damage to a squad before you even shoot your weapon or at the same time as you're shooting your gun is massive. Since we are on the topic of that EMP, you also find a lot more ramparts in Watson's in ranked, and being able to take out all those fences or the amped portion of barriers with one foul swoop means you really don't have to worry about the positional legends quite as much if you are playing Crypto. If Crypto feels slow, it's kind of because he is, but a good Crypto can mostly bypass this, and sending out the drone remotely as you enter a fight to get angles on walls or to see where enemies are is honestly a pretty big deal, and it does give Crypto some offensive combat capabilities that you may not think of. You can also use the drone as a fourth player and have that drone watch your back, and if it does scan someone when it's up in a corner and someone walks by, this can be a pretty big thing, and it will make your team a little bit more flexible and you can cover more space. But for me, the big thing that makes Crypto shine almost is not even all of the previous things. It's Crypto's innate nature to gain intel as to how many squads are around through the signs, which is massive to just understanding if you can push a fight. Also, his supportive nature to better and remotely grab teammates' cards, which inevitably is going to happen from time to time, is going to be very welcomed. Between this and being able to remotely revive players, you can do all this way quicker, which is very nice if you are trying to carry the squad. Crypto definitely has some of the most going for him in terms of the entire package of support, aggressive play, and intel gathering. But regardless of the legend that you are choosing, you can find success, and it really comes down to the team play. Let me know who you are gravitating towards in the comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and as always, have a great day.